Well, November's actually been here for a few days, but now we're feeling it. The month is certainly starting to send those signals of winter across the state. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Tom Green.
And I'm Kim Christensen. It looks like it too, because the mountains really got dumped on overnight into the morning. Here's a look at the midday conditions at Copper Mountain. While we saw a few people on the slopes, Copper says their official opening day will be Friday. So what are those? The employees checking it out, maybe? Breckenridge also plans to open on Friday, and this is what the snow stake camera looked at like about 6 this morning. The meter just buried in snow. Copper reports that this storm delivered 20 inches of snow at the mid-mountain point.
You got to get a bigger stake.
Yeah, they do.
November turning all of the mountains back into winter. Matt Renew giving us this look at Frisco, where about 15 inches of snow fell in that area. Obviously a welcome sight after what was a very dry October.
Yeah, right now CDOT has closed I-25 in southern Colorado because of snowing conditions. The highway is closed over Raton Pass in both directions. That's from Trinidad to the New Mexico border. So even though we aren't really seeing it here in the metro area, it's really hitting the foothills and the mountains like they need it.
If you've made that drive down through Raton Pass, you know that when they shut down the highway, that's good because you're not going to get that speeding ticket that everyone gets as soon as you get to New Mexico.
When it's dry.
It's a good thing, Kathy.
Yeah, it is pretty windy. When it's snowy and icy and visibility's poor, it can be pretty dangerous. Our evening drive really looks pretty good. Some of us had a light dusting of snow this morning, and then the skies have gone over to clear for now. But this is just the first of 3 storms that we're tracking this week. Yesterday we were in the mid-50s. This hour we're in the mid-40s, so a whole lot colder. Cold north wind coming in, but that's helping to steer a lot of the moisture away from the metro area, where we're really going to enjoy a nice evening out there. Roads and streets and sidewalks are clear, but in the foothills you go just a few miles to the west and it is a winter wonderland. And some of the snow reports impressive. 22 inches at Copper Mountain, 12 at Silverthorne, 9 at Winter Park, 7.5 at Dillon, 6 in Evergreen, 16 in Breck, 9 in Genesee, Golden with over 8, 7.5 in Fairplay, and almost a half a foot in Estes Park. Not the official first snow of the season at DIA. They didn't see much, but a lot of people up and down the Front Range saw at least a few flakes or a light dusting. And now this system is just kind of spinning over southeastern Colorado, and that's why we're having some issues on the roadways and their advisories, because that's where all the heavy rain and snow is, and also the winter weather and travel advisories, which will be reinstated for storm system number 2 due in here on Wednesday. We have just beautiful conditions for the next few hours, but change is coming. Storm system number 2 is on the way. This one will bring accumulating snow to the metro area, and we have a 3rd storm beyond that. So lots to talk about in weather coming up.
Just lay them all out. Independence Pass, taking drivers between Aspen and Leadville, is closed for the season. CDOT closed the pass last Monday for winter weather conditions. That was supposed to really be temporary, and then a rock fall damaged the road 2 days later. So CDOT said, it's good for the season. We're closing it down. A woman shot at a hospital in Greeley last week had a protection order against her estranged husband. She suffered multiple gunshot wounds. She is recovering and out of the hospital.
Yeah, at the time of that shooting, her husband was accused of stalking her and vandalizing her car. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates has been digging into the case. Kevin, bring us the latest.
Tom and Kim, this couple experienced financial and marital problems leading up to the violence we saw last week. Gunshots in Greeley.
Brought on a shooting at the UCA Health Greeley Hospital.
Gunshots that left a woman seriously hurt. Then a short time later in nearby Evans.
Engine 105, respond to a residential structure fire at
A fire and the discovery of a man's body inside this home. 9 News Investigates has learned that in August, the woman's husband was accused of domestic violence and she filed for divorce. Authorities have not released their identities or confirmed that the dead man was her husband, and we are not naming them. But court documents show that their home was foreclosed on in 2023. And earlier this summer, prosecutors charged the woman's husband with criminal mischief and harassment, classifying the incident as domestic violence. The next day, a judge issued a protection order, and the day after that, the woman filed for divorce.
When they leave, when they make the move, when they file for a protection order, it's been identified as one of the most dangerous times for a survivor.
Soledad Diaz is with Violence Free Colorado, which works with community-based organizations that serve survivors of domestic violence.
What we see here is really like a piling up of all the dynamics that we tend to see.
The latest numbers show that domestic violence deaths have fallen in Colorado, but incidences of domestic violence have not.
You know, while other crimes can go down, domestic violence is not going anywhere.
The woman's husband was supposed to be in court this morning on the domestic violence charges from August. When the judge called the case, the man's attorney announced that he was deceased. Live in the newsroom, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Well, that is a sad story to see it play all the way out the way it did, Kevin. Thanks.
For the first time since Colorado reintroduced wolves, one of them has roamed south of I-70. The newest maps show the wolves are farther south than they've ever been. The map from CPW shows the wolf was around Vail and down near Leadville. The agency says it expected this to happen eventually. Previous maps have shown that the wolves were closer to the Wyoming border, but this time you can see they've been down south from our northern areas, further south than ever before. It is the day before the election, and all eyes are on the 2024 presidential race. More than 2 million people have already voted here in Colorado.
As a matter of fact, it's all across the country that we're seeing record-breaking numbers when it comes to early voting. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington, where she's been following Vice President Kamala Harris.
Preparations are underway on the campus of Howard University, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to spend election night with her supporters.
I want to be a part of this historic moment. I want to see it in live action.
Harris is a graduate of the historically black university. People we spoke with say they are proud to be witnessing history.
Just being on this campus, there's such a legacy. There's such a energy that breeds excellence.
Not only is this election important from the perspective of a black person, particularly a young black woman, but also this is perhaps one of the most consequential elections in our lifetime.
The vice president is spending these last hours campaigning in critical Pennsylvania.
It's about just strengthening our country and reminding each other we are all in this together. We rise and fall together.
Harris making her final pitch, and on Tuesday, voters will have the final say. On the campus of Howard University, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
As far as former President Trump, he's spending the day in a final battleground blitz visiting North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. And it was at the rally in Pennsylvania the former president said that he never should have left the White House after his loss in 2020. Sources familiar with planning tell NBC News that former President Trump is expected to vote in person tomorrow in Florida and then watch results with family and friends at Mar-a-Lago. And as we tick down the hours until Election Day, many are feeling anxiety, some cases overwhelming anxiety about the election and the results. Our 9 News parenting expert is going to join us in just a couple of minutes to discuss solutions for you and your family.